Hi everyone, we are from Group 3. We'll be sharing with you a video on radiation in everyday objects and nature. Sounds interesting, right? So without further ado, let us start our video. Do you know there are a lot of radiation that comes from everyday object and nature? But today we are going to discuss the main examples such as from the solar radiation, the cosmic rays, from building materials, X-rays, from household appliances, and last but not least from food and drinks. Alia will start the presentation.
The first thing that we are going to talk about is the radiation in food and drinks. Some food and drinks naturally have a small amount of radioactive elements. This can be a result of the root uptake from soil, the transfer via aquatic pathways, or the direct deposition from the atmosphere. So, what are some of the naturally occurring radioactive materials? Potassium-40, polonium-210, thorium-232, and uranium-238 can be found in food and drinking water. The first food that contains radiation is the banana. Bananas contain high level of potassium, which also includes the isotope potassium-40. The isotope was absorbed from the soil, and this makes the bananas emit tiny amount of radiation. The next food is the Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are high in radium. They grow on trees with deep roots. Therefore, the roots absorb the radium, which is taken into the nuts. The water we drink also contains radiation. The water dissolves various mineral salts from its underground. The radionuclides may be absorbed as water passes over or through rocks and soils. The most radioactive water comes from areas like granites or volcanic rocks, which contain thorium and uranium. So, are these food and drinks dangerous to be consumed? The answer is no, because the radiation levels are extremely low, and the international standards relating to the control of radioactivity in food and drinking water have been developed by the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, the IAEA, and the World Health Organization.
So next, we're gonna go into solar radiation. Firstly, let's us know what is solar radiation. It is a radiant energy emitted by the sun from a nuclear fusion that creates electromagnetic energy, and it is a largely optical radiation that includes UV, visible, and infrared rays. The UV radiation present in sunlight constitute about 10% of the total electromagnetic radiation output from the sun, and it is 95% UVA and 5% UVB. Sun exposure. The UV radiation in sunlight has both positive and negative health effects. UVA causes significant damage to DNA and can cause skin cancer. Meanwhile, UVB is commonly used for vitamin D synthesis in the skin of mammals, which is good. However, it causes sunburn in our skin. Next, long-term of sunlight exposure is known to be associated with development of health conditions such as skin cancer, skin aging, immune suppression, and lastly, eye disease. So how do we limit sun exposure, knowing that we are all exposed to it, especially people who have to be in the sun every day all the time? Firstly, plan your time to limit your sun exposure. The sun's UV rays are the strongest between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. So, knowing this, you can plan your day and to minimal the exposure of sun during these times as the UV rays are the strongest. Next, wear protective clothing. If you have to be outside in the sun, wear a hat with a wide brim to protect your face and neck, sunglasses to protect your eyes from eye damage, and tightly woven and loose-fitting clothes for your body. Lastly, don't forget to wear sunscreen with a broad spectrum of SPF 15 to protect your skin. Next, I'll pass to Adlina.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, I am Nur Adlina Atira binti Muhammad Azhar, MIC 190032, will be presenting about the cosmic rays. Do you know, throughout the year, 13% of the total body radiation come from cosmic radiation? Yes, now we'll be looking at the sources of cosmic radiation. The particles of cosmic radiations originates from the sun, but most of the time it originates from the outer space of solar system. Now we'll be looking at the type of cosmic radiations. When the particles arrive at the top of the Earth's atmosphere, it is called the primary cosmic radiation. While when it collides with atomic nuclei at the atmosphere, we call it the secondary cosmic radiation. The principles is easy. The higher you get, the more radiation you will receive. We will look at the example of people who are exposed to high amount of cosmic radiation. Number 1, the crew of long-haul flights. Number 2, the flight passengers. And last but not least, the astronauts. Yes, the astronauts. For an example, if you're having an air travel from Tokyo to New York, you will approximately receive 200 microsievert cosmic radiation per round trip. Will it be dangerous? Even though we are exposed to cosmic rays on every single day, we do not have to be worried. This is because the amount of radiation exposure we receive is not high enough for us to develop specific risks associated with it. I am done with my part, so I will pass the next part to Shazwani.
Hello, my name is Wanwa Shazwani and I'm going to explain the third one, which is radiation from building materials. Most of the building materials that are made up of sandstones, concrete, brick, natural stones, gypsum, or granite contain radioactive nuclides that are most likely to emit low levels of radiation. These building materials contain natural occurring radioactive elements such as uranium, radium, and thorium that give people a small external dose. These naturally occurring elements can break down or decay into the radioactive gas radon and thorium, which are harmful to humans. Besides, radon is more likely to get into home through cracks and holes in your foundation, which is underneath the home or private well water. Amount of radiation in building materials depends on the type and amounts of material used. So, what you can do after knowing the facts? First, have good ventilation in your home. It helps to remove both radon and thorium gases. Second, get a radon test kit. Because of the elevated in the radon levels, it's important to test your home for radon and to correct elevated levels. Thank you, that's all for me, and now I will pass to Adila.
Next is X-ray from X-ray machine. X-ray is a form of electromagnetic radiation that can penetrate clothing, body tissue, and internal organs. It propagates through metal but does not require metal for its propagation. It has a high penetrating power that can be blocked by thick sheet of lead or iron. X-ray is a man-made radiation that is used in diagnostic imaging such as radiography and CT scan. The typical dose from medical X-rays is 0.4 millisieverts in a year. It is also an ionizing radiation which is electrically neutral. Let's go through the risk of exposure to this radiation. Patients who undergo medical X-rays and the workers who assist the procedures are the ones that usually exposed to the radiation. It can cause mutations in DNA and increase the risk of cancer, genetic defects or mutations in germ cells, and extremely low risk of short-term side effects which are vomiting, bleeding, and hair loss. There are some ways to limit the exposure to radiation from X-rays. First, by using shielding to minimize the hazard, wear personal protective equipment or PPE, put warning or caution signs on all X-ray rooms, and know our X-ray histories. Now, I will pass the presentation to Kaizin.
Hi everyone, this is Kaizin and I will introduce to you household appliances that can be found in our houses that emits radiation. Although these items is radioactive but worry not, the exposure amount is well below the recommended level and will not cause acute health effects. The first object will be the microwave oven. Microwave oven uses microwave which is within the radio wave spectrum to heat food. When food containing water molecules absorb microwaves, they vibrate and produces heat. If ovens are modified or damaged, microwaves might leak out and possesses a hazard to people nearby by causing burns. Next, cell phones or smartphones also applies the concept of radiation where they send and receive signals from nearby cell towers in the form of radio waves, specifically radio frequency waves, which is a non-ionizing radiation. Smartphones don't have enough energy to cause cancer, but radio wave release will heat up body tissues. The third category of object includes the heat lamps, toasters, and remote controls where all of them emit infrared. Incandescent bulbs transmit nearly 90% of infrared radiation and only 10% are visible lights. On the other hand, remote controls rely on infrared shootout to signal the receiver to carry out programmed command. Lastly is the ionization chamber smoke detector. Ionization chamber smoke detector contains a small amount of americium-241, which is a radioactive bacteria. Smoke particles disrupt the low and steady electrical current produced by radioactive particles and trigger the detector's alarm.
To conclude, all of us are exposed to radiation every day, from natural sources and man-made sources. Beyond certain threshold, radiation can impair the functioning of tissues and organs. Thus, we need to always minimize radiation exposure on ourselves. We hope everyone benefits from today's video. That's all from us. Thank you. Bye.